What is meaningful for you about the experience you had with the restorative circle from today's perspective?
The very fact that Restorative Auroville continues to persevere in the path of restoring connection and justice without being bothered by the success or failure of the different circles they have had. Adds a lot of meaning to this incredibly difficult yet very nourishing parts of untying the complex knots of human nature.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few things, kind of layer by layer. On the larger scale, I appreciate that RC embraces conflict, because I think a lot of cultures, and certainly a lot of people, are told that conflict is bad. But the fact of the matter is, conflict is part of life. It's part of life. I mean, it's traffic. You can look at traffic as conflict. You know, you get into a queue and you're running late, and that, conflict is everywhere. So when society is telling you that when you feel that conflicting feeling inside of you, to kind of bury it because it's bad or whatever, I feel that that's unhealthy. So for me, RC opens that up and acknowledges that conflict exists and it's okay to be with conflict.
In my case, what I really appreciated in the few circles I've been part of is that it gave a space for things to be said and hopefully heard. Basically, I really had this very strong feeling that it helps bring to light what is a bit trolling in the dark, and in that sense it helps a transformation, because to me, when you bring it to light, basically, then something can happen. Until you touch it and you're able to identify what's the problem or what's existing in this situation, what's present, it's very hard to move forward. So for me, I would say that this revealing factor of RCs is super important, and that's for me what has been the most, what I really appreciated the most.
From my experience and my sense of RC, it can handle the wide range of complex or simple conflicts, because of it being physically a circle and because of the way that everyone who's in the circle engages or is invited to engage, because you know that not everybody engages in a circle every time. And so I appreciate that it's so inclusive of the different kinds of conflicts.
I have started to develop a sense of humor around the word conflict. I don't believe in that word anymore, or what it actually means. I am seeing all these different situations between human beings as a fascinating gift for something to transform and resolve. The very fact that Restorative Aurovik continues to hold space for these conversations, especially given the fact that it is in its infancy in Auroville, is good enough for me. It is important to continue the conversation. Full stops need to be replaced with commas.
Yeah, what experiences you have in the aftermath of an circle? What
For me personally?
for you personally, or on the RC community, or even on a wider level?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Any sense what?
So my early days with RC, I was living in creativity community.
Yeah.
So I had some beforehand knowledge and sense of what some individuals thought, let's say. So then after, and I had my sense, and this was my first live RC, it was in my community. I hadn't been to a real one. And Lara was there, and Janet was there. I don't remember if Kati was there. Anyway, but definitely Lara and Janet. So, okay. I thought it was great. Me personally, I said what I needed to say. I felt held by the sanctity and the sacredness and the safety of the circle, because I'm like that. I believe in it. If you tell me that this is a safe space, I'm going for it, you know? And I do it until I see that it's not safe. But it was safe. And so I just went for it. So I was able, because of the circle, because outside of the circle I would not have felt supported to say what I needed to say in regards to the act, to the particular person who was involved with this act. I wouldn't have, because this person was pretty strong.
Basically, I've noticed that when all of a sudden in an RC, one of the key actors, or even one person that's not necessarily at the center, or even the facilitator, but basically when someone just, is being fully vulnerable at one point, it shifts something in the energy fully, and then we're managing to start seeing each other as human beings, and as and to take care of each other. Yeah. So I do feel that for me, key is really this vulnerability and daring to be vulnerable, and it's not easy, and it's actually super hard, but yeah, I really feel that until this happens, basically, there isn't any deep healing. I saw that, once again, at least it gave a space for some people to express things that they hadn't, and in a way, I think it restores. It helps you realign with your own truth somehow, to be able to speak it loud, and it helps you realign with your own sincerity and honesty, and so I think that I don't know if it really fits in the restored part, but it helps you realign with yourself in a way. So I've seen a few people realign.
You can connect with your value of honesty, integrity. And maybe that doesn't happen every time, but I think it does happen quite a bit, because you're asked to speak it out. I think that can be very powerful.
Last question. What would you give me along my way to become an RC facilitator, wanting groups to support building their own system?
This is my value, since you're asking me, that's what I'm saying. This creating safe space for people, I think, is invaluable, and inviting people to that space is invaluable. And if people want to come, great. If people don't want to come, great. You got to be ready. So the more people on the planet who are offering to hold safe spaces in whatever, it even can just be a circle, it doesn't have to be an RC, but who intend, you hold that intention and you have that clarity in yourself. Because to hold a space like that, I think you've had this experience, to hold a space like that, you really, to do it well, you almost energetically, you create a space, you really create a space. And then when you have that intention and you make that offer and people respond and they say, yeah, then to engage people with that co-creation, that people really understand that co-creation of that space. That I'm going to say we're equal. I mean, we're not really equal, but it's this self-empowerment, and you're just as empowered as she's just as empowered as he's just as empowered. Nobody's up or down. That it's this, and to try to cultivate that.
Just one question too. When you say creating a safe space, for you, what does it imply? What does it involve to have a safe space?
That no judgment. So no right or wrong. It's right or wrong is judgment. That there's really caring. Like really, there's a caring there. You set the intention, and the people who you're co-creating that space with, you're setting an intention of caring. Because anything could happen there. I mean, people can probably get violent, even, verbally violent or abusive, or language, and all sorts of things can happen. But if there's that you're holding that, it can still be safe. You can have that intention of safeness with, care, allowing what arises to arise.
To unite. To divide and separate, one can find a million justifications and reasons. And that's an old rhetoric.
It's a beautiful tool, and I believe, as far as like really deep meaning, there can be healing. I've seen it and I've felt it. This really true healing, and healing that's not like, oh, my doctor says I'm okay now. I experience it because I engage. People have to engage, so I really do trust in that healing quality of an RC, and that has a lot of meaning for me.